What's up, guys? I am back with Heart and Hustle Houston, Season 2, Episode 3, You're Not on My Level. The episode starts off with Chloe and Jordan, back to the whole walk-off. And my thing is, point proven, Jordan set his boundaries. He told you, listen, this is what's going to work, this is what's not going to work, and either you can respect it or check it. And she chose to say F it. Y'all get into it, and the first person you call is his mother. Like, how disrespectful, girl. If you don't find a friend, if you don't, write in a journal, go to a therapist, talk to chat GPT, like, you have many options. But it has to start like somewhere, and for that to be your first person that you call, it really shows that you don't give a fuck about Jordan's feelings, and you are trying to mold him into be this person that you want him to be. And he keeps like, no, no, no. And you can't respect it because you feel like he's young and he needs to be trained. But that man is a grown man at the end of the day, and he's doing what he wants, and he's telling you how it's going to be if y'all are going to be together. And I mean, you can either get on the horse or you can watch it trot off. I am sick of the Precious narrative. I'm also sick of Latoya trying to be the body positive, dark skinned warrior. Like, girl, have a seat. You are reaching. Relax. Road talks about the last therapy session, how it was explosive and it was not anything that she thought it was going to be. And she is planning a future therapy session so that they can all get on the same page. But something that I did note from this conversation, this sit down, Latoya likes to bring up what I heard, or well, I heard this and I heard that about things that Labrina has said. But Labrina has talked to you face to face about the Precious comment, about the "you're not on my level" comment, and you will believe anything that the streets tell you, but you won't even take the time to. I'm sorry, I just got an email. You won't even take the time to really take what Labrina is telling you out of her own mouth. How is it that you won't get it from the horse's mouth? It's because Labrina isn't saying the things that you want her to say. So therefore, it's bullshit. Girl, the problem is you. The problem has been you, and it's always going to be you. All right, so the next scene is Manera and her family photo shoot. I really resonated with this scene in particular because I do have a blended family, and I do have a child that lives away, so she doesn't get to be involved in all of our activities, but we really try to make her feel included in everything and never make her feel like the outside child or anything like that. I can tell just from Manera's spirit, and you kind of like, it takes one to know one. I could tell that Manera puts in a lot of effort to make their house and their blend as smooth and as loving as possible. I can see it in her eyes. I could see it how she was just, fixing her hair, just the little small things. I do my absolute best to be there just as much, if not more, for my daughter who lives away as I do with Chloe, who's right in the house with me. So it was really nice to see such a real moment, because this is real, and I like that. This is something that I compare to Love and Marriage Huntsville, because like Maurice and Kimmy, y'all have all these kids. Maurice has 3 other kids that y'all pretend like don't even exist. So we just got to be real, and that's something that I really like about Heart and Hustle Houston. I feel like it is one of the most authentic shows that's out right now. The speech that Norman gave at the end, he and Manera actually, was just so touching and heartfelt, and I'm glad that they took the time to put a spotlight on their daughter who lives out of town, and to just pour some words into them and let them know how much they really do appreciate and love and value their family dynamics. Okay, so the next scene is Latoya and her god sister packing up her dad's home. Her dad recently passed, and she is planning on selling the home. The scene was touching, but what I took from the scene personally is Latoya is very hurt and scarred from her mom leaving her. She has abandonment issues, and a lot of the things that she wants her mom to be accountable for, she's taking it out on Labrina. And a lot of that is misdirected anger. And now I understand it clearly because, like I said earlier, Labrina is saying her feelings and her side of the reality out of her mouth. But Latoya keeps choosing to believe that it's no way that that's what it was. This is what it was, and I'm gonna make you say it. And similar to like her mom, you know, people walk away from their children for their own reasons. And sometimes that's the biggest blessing in the world because sometimes moms just don't have the capacity to parent. And from the outside looking in, someone could be like, damn, like, I can't believe she never has her kids, or I can't believe she let the dad raise the kids. And it's like, you can't always build your own conclusions. Sorry about that, guys. I just got some really good news on that phone call. So praise the Lord. What I was about to say was, I feel like Latoya has a misplaced trauma that she is trying to push off on Labrina. The accountability that she is trying to hold Labrina to is what she really wants to hold her mom to. And, sometimes we misdirect anger, we misdirect love, we misdirect attention in ways that we don't realize until we realize it, honestly. And it's just sad. It's just sad. And now I look at Latoya a whole lot different because I'm understanding where all this misplaced emotions are coming from. The next scene is Latoya, Manera, and Ro sitting down for a bite to eat, which they never got the bite to eat, but sitting down to discuss the issues between Manera and Latoya. This conversation kind of was pointless. Latoya, in my eyes, went into it with Manera, either you're going to be with me or against me. And she wasn't even taking into consideration the things that Manera was saying back and forth to her in conversation, because all she was looking for was Manera to say, well, yeah, Labrina was wrong. Yeah, Labrina owes you an apology. And Manera said, shit, that's a grown-ass woman. I mean, if she feel like she owe you an apology, she feel like she want to have a conversation, that's on her. Like, so you got to move on at some point, Latoya. Only thing Latoya seemed to want to do in that conversation was point fingers and to continue to give. Hold on. The scene with Elena and her kids did not seem natural. It seemed very forced. It seemed very uncomfortable. And I don't know. I just did not like it. Like, I didn't like it at all. The kids look like they need therapy, and that's no shade. It's just, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the scene at all. I do want to give Elena, a warm hug and all that, because I understand how hard it is having small kids and going through a divorce. It's not fun and it doesn't look normal, and you're just trying to figure it out and still, show up for your kids. So I resonate with her on that. However, this scene it wasn't good. All right, so the final scene is the therapy session. What I didn't like was, I didn't like how they started as you came in. You were kind of walking into a conversation. You didn't have the background. You didn't know what was said already. You didn't know what stones had been turned, what progress had been made. You just kind of dove in. I did not like that at all. Granted, I know that Miss Sylvia was on, time, like they paid her to be there. So they probably had to start at a certain time. It probably wasn't a situation where they can just wait till everybody got there. But still, I just didn't like that at all. Chloe came in with a stank attitude. She came in on some bullshit. You could just tell that she wasn't there to really find solutions and want to move forward. She was there on the straight bullshit. Justice for Labrina. I've been saying this since episode 1. I stand behind Labrina 10 toes down, and I knew that if she said she didn't start that pressure shit, she didn't. And guess who started it? Chloe, calling the girl Gabrielle Sidibe. Now, how is it that Gabrielle Sidibe and the girl looked exactly like her? You can tell in the conversation that not a lot of people who were right there knew who Gabrielle Sidibe was. A lot of people know Gabrielle Sidibe as Precious. That was her breakout role. So once it clicked that that's who she was talking about, they all had a little chuckle. It wasn't that deep. And like I said, if you're gonna have smoke for Labrina, you gotta have smoke for Chloe. And Latoya was, mum was the word. I have nothing, nothing. All them hurt feelings and oh, my friend hurt and my friend. Then that's another thing. It went from the girl heard to somebody went back and told her to, I was like, which one is it? You're lying. Chloe went back and flipped the script, told you, and then it was this whole thing. They didn't even have to make TV, to be completely honest with you. You made this a whole story, and you're the one making your friend look stupid because it should have stayed where it was. Because that wasn't even, child. Chloe was so checked out, just constantly on the phone, checking Jordan's location. Like, girl, get off the show. Don't come back. Do us all a favor and just decline. I love when Miss Labrina came in there and got Latoya's ass all the way together, and she was triggered and she did not want to hear that shit. Latoya always wants to play the victim. My final note was this is episode 3, and each episode Chloe is looking worse and worse. Like, you keep going out looking bad. The first episode, you want to talk about something. Oh, Jordan cheated on me. Somebody else had the code to Jordan's door. Next episode, Jordan told you, like, bitch, this is what it's going to be. And you went and did the same exact thing that the boy said that he wasn't fucking with. And he left your stupid ass sitting at the picnic table with no food. And then this episode, they wrote the tapes back on your ass. You were the culprit of the whole Precious Gate. Guys, thanks so much for being with me. This was Heart and Hustle Houston, Season 2, Episode 3. I hope y'all come back for Episode 4 review. Love y'all. Bye.